Thomas and Friends, the Golden Orchard Rescue. One sunny autumn afternoon on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine was chugging along the orchard tracks, pulling a train of ripe apples for the Sodor harvest market. The air was filled with the sweet scent of fruit, and the trees glowed with golden and red leaves. But as Thomas passed the golden orchard, a sprawling apple grove near the rolling hills, he heard a loud crash, followed by a distressed mooing sound coming from the trees. Thomas slowed down, his eyes wide with concern.
What was that noise?
He wondered, his steam puffing softly. Just then, Percy, who was nearby delivering cider barrels, puffed up beside him.
Thomas, I think it has a cow. It sounds like it has in trouble.
Percy said, his voice filled with worry. The two engines decided to investigate, but they knew this might need more help. Thomas whistled loudly, calling for James, Emily, and Toby. Soon, the group gathered near the orchard, their headlights shining on the golden trees, where they spotted a young cow tangled in fallen branches after a tree had toppled in a recent storm. James, with his shiny red paint, said,
I can pull those branches with my strength, but the cow looks scared.
Emily, with her thoughtful and gentle nature, suggested.
Maybe we can use some of the apple crates to create a path and calm the cow safely.
Toby, the wise old tram engine, nodded.
I've got some strong ropes on my footbed. Let us work together to make a plan.
With teamwork, they sprang into action. Percy, with his small size, carefully maneuvered under the branches to tie the ropes around the fallen tree, while James used his buffers to gently lift the branches, avoiding harm to the cow. Emily, as kindness, soothed the frightened animal, coaxing it to stay calm as Thomas guided the ropes with his steady presence, ensuring the branches were lifted safely. The cow, a friendly calf named Daisy Moo, mooed gratefully as she trotted free, her bell jingling happily.
Thank you, friends of steel. You've saved me.
She lowed, her big brown eyes sparkling with gratitude, but the adventure wasn't over. Daisy Moo explained.
A storm last night knocked down the orchard gate, and I wandered too far. The apples are still scattered, and the market needs them.
The engines inspected the orchard and found apples strewn across the grove, some trapped under debris. Toby used his flatbeds to carry the apples, while James and Percy worked together to clear fallen branches. Emily, as steady guidance, ensured the apples were gathered carefully, and Thomas, as determination, kept them moving even as the sun began to set. With the orchard restored and the apples loaded, they delivered the harvest to the Sodor harvest market just in time. The villagers cheered as the apples filled the stalls, their golden glow lighting up the fair. Daisy Moo followed, safe and happy, munching on a fallen apple. Sir Topham had arrived, impressed by their efforts.
Well done, Thomas and Friends. You've saved Daisy Moo and protected Sodor's harvest with your teamwork and kindness.
That evening, as the engines rested in Timouth sheds, they heard Daisy Moo as bell jingling in the distance, a reminder of their exciting rescue and the magic of friendship in the Golden Orchard. The Thundercloud Tunnel Mystery. One stormy summer afternoon on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine was chugging along the mountain tracks, pulling a train of bright umbrellas for the Sodor Rain Festival. Thunder rumbled in the distance, and rain pattered against his blue paint. But as Thomas entered the Thundercloud Tunnel, a dark, cavernous passage through the stormy peaks, he noticed something unusual. A faint, crackling glow deep within the tunnel, flickering like lightning trapped in stone. Thomas slowed down, his eyes wide with curiosity. What as that light, he wondered, his steam puffing softly into the damp air. Just then, Percy, who was nearby delivering raincoats, puffed up beside him. Thomas, it looks like lightning inside the tunnel, but that isn't possible, Percy said, his voice filled with excitement and a hint of fear. The two engines decided to investigate, but they knew this might need more help. Thomas whistled loudly, calling for James, Emily, and Toby. Soon, the group gathered at the tunnel's entrance, their headlights shining on the jagged rocks, where the crackling glow pulsed brighter, accompanied by a low, rumbling hum. James, with his shiny red paint, huffed, "It is probably just a trick of the storm. I am not afraid of a little thunder." Emily, with her thoughtful and gentle nature, said, "But what if it Sodor has magic? The Thundercloud Tunnel has always been mysterious. It could hold a secret." The wise old tram engine nodded. Let us be careful. Storms can be unpredictable, and we need to uncover this safely. With Thomas leading, they ventured into the tunnel, the storm as thunder echoing off the walls. The crackling light led them to a hidden chamber, where an ancient, rocky chest lay beneath a glittering vein of quartz. The chest's surface was etched with lightning bolts and train tracks, and the glow seemed to come from within. Percy, with his small size, squeezed through a narrow gap in the rocks and nudged the chest open with his buffer. "It has a treasure chest," he exclaimed. Inside, they found a collection of shimmering stormstones, old maps, and a small, thunderbolt-shaped crystal glowing with the same crackling light as the tunnel. James, impressed, said, "This must be the Thundercloud heart. But why is it hidden here?" Emily studied the maps and discovered a note. The Thundercloud crystal keeps Sodor's storms in balance, returning when the thunder falters. Thomas realized the storm is stronger because the crystal has been uncovered. "We need to place it back to calm the weather." With teamwork, they loaded the chest onto Toby's flatbed. James used his strength to clear a fallen boulder blocking the track, while Percy's quick thinking helped navigate the slippery rails. Emily's kindness calmed a flock of frightened bats spooked by the glowing crystal, and Toby's steady presence ensured the chest stayed secure. When they returned to the deepest part of the Thundercloud tunnel, Thomas carefully placed the thunderbolt crystal on a hidden ledge, securing it with the chest's light. The crystal flared brightly, and the storm outside softened, its thunder turning into a gentle rumble. The rain lessened, and a rainbow arched across the sky, lighting up Sodor's mountains. Sir Topham had arrived, amazed by their discovery. "Well done, Thomas and friends." UV uncovered the Thundercloud tunnel's secret and ensured Sodor's storm stayed balanced. That night, as the engines rested in Timouth sheds, they watched the rainbow as glow over the stormy peaks, the crystal as light twinkling, a reminder of the thrilling journey and the magic of teamwork on Sodor.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
The Moonlit Marsh Mystery. One quiet summer night on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine was chugging along the marsh tracks, pulling a train of glowing fireflies for the Sodor Moonlight Fair. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the reeds and water. But as Thomas crossed the moonlit marsh, a misty, swampy area near the Whispering Woods, he noticed something unusual. A faint, shimmering light dancing on the water, pulsing like a heartbeat under the moon's reflection. Thomas slowed down, his eyes wide with curiosity. What is that light? He wondered, his steam puffing softly into the cool night air. Just then, Percy, who was nearby delivering lanterns, puffed up beside him. "Thomas, it looks like a moonbeam in the marsh, but it is moving," Percy said, his voice filled with excitement. The two engines decided to investigate, but they knew this might need more help. Thomas whistled loudly, calling for James, Emily, and Toby. Soon, the group gathered near the marsh, their headlights shining on the shimmering light. The glow pulsed brighter, leading them to a hidden island in the middle of the swamp, surrounded by reeds and glowing fireflies. James, with his shiny red paint, chuckled, "A light in the marsh. This better not be another troublesome truck trick." Emily, with her thoughtful and gentle nature, said, "I think it has Sodor's magic at work. The moonlit marsh has always been mysterious, it could hold a secret." Toby, the wise old tram engine, nodded, "Let us be careful. The marsh is tricky, and we need to uncover this safely." With Thomas leading, they followed the light across the marsh, their wheels splashing through shallow water. The fireflies buzzed happily, lighting the way, and the light led them to a hidden hollow beneath a willow tree. There, they found an ancient, mossy chest half buried in the mud. The chest's surface was etched with crescent moons and train tracks, and the glow seemed to come from within. Percy, with his small size, squeezed through the reeds and nudged the chest open with his buffer. "It is a treasure chest," he exclaimed. Inside, they found a collection of shimmering moonstones, old maps, and a small, crescent-shaped crystal glowing with the same silvery light as the moon. James, impressed, said, "This must be the moonlit marsh heart. But why is it hidden here?" Emily studied the maps and discovered a note. "The moonlit marsh crystal keeps Sodor's moonlight in balance. Return it when the glow fades." Thomas realized, the moon's light is brighter because the crystal has been uncovered. "We need to place it back to keep Sodor's nights magical." With teamwork, they loaded the chest onto Toby's flatbed. James used his strength to clear a path through the muddy tracks, while Percy as quick thinking helped navigate the swampy terrain. Emily as kindness calmed a family of frogs spooked by the glowing crystal, and Toby as steady presence ensured the chest stayed secure. When they returned to the hidden island, Thomas carefully placed the crescent crystal on a hidden pedestal beneath the willow, securing it with the chest as light. The crystal flared brightly, and the moonlight deepened into a tranquil, silvery glow spreading across Sodor as marsh. The fireflies danced joyfully, their lights twinkling like stars, and the marsh hummed with peace. Sir Topham had arrived at dawn, amazed by their discovery. "Well done, Thomas and friends. You've uncovered the Moonlit marsh secret and ensured Sodor as night stay magical." That night, as the engines rested in tin-mouthed sheds, they watched the moon as glow over the moonlit marsh, the crystal as light twinkling, a reminder of their adventurous journey and the magic of teamwork on Sodor.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
Thomas and Friends, the Desert Oasis Quest. One sunny summer morning on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine stood at Brandon Docks, his blue paint gleaming under the bright sunlight. The sea sparkled, and seagulls soared overhead. But Sir Topham had approached with an important message. "Thomas, we've received a request from the distant desert oasis, far beyond Sodor's shores. They need a special delivery of Sodor's legendary rainwater crystals, rare, shimmering stones that bring life to their dry lands during their summer solstice festival. You and your friends must take this journey, but it is a long and challenging one." Thomas's eyes sparkled with excitement. "A distant journey. I am ready, sir. I need my friends to help," he said, his steam puffing eagerly. Thomas whistled loudly, calling for Percy, James, Emily, and Toby. Soon, the group gathered, their headlights shining on the dockside. They loaded the rainwater crystals, clear, glistening stones that glowed with a cool aqualight, onto Toby's flatbeds, securing them for the long trip. Sir Topham had added, "Be careful, engines. The route crosses scorching deserts, sandy dunes, and a windy canyon pass. Work together, and you'll succeed." With Thomas leading, they set off, chugging along Sodor's coastal tracks toward the southern sands, where the tracks stretched into unfamiliar territory. The first challenge came at the scorched dunes, blazing, sandy slopes that made the rails hot and slippery. James, with his shiny red paint and strength, pulled the train through the shifting sands, while Percy, as quick thinking, helped them avoid a sandstorm. Emily's gentle encouragement kept their spirits high, and Toby's steady presence ensured the rainwater crystals stayed secure. As they crossed the sandy valleys, a swirling dust storm rolled in, obscuring the tracks and threatening to bury them. The engines could barely see, but Thomas remembered the crystal's aqua glow. "Let us use their light to guide us," he suggested. They positioned the stones near their headlights, and their cool radiance cut through the dust, leading them safely through the shifting sands. Their next challenge was the windy canyon pass, a narrow, rocky path with gusts that threatened to push them off the rails. The wind howled, and the tracks creaked under their weight. But Emily's calm voice steadied them. "We can do this together," she said. Percy and Toby anchored the train with their cables, while James's power helped Thomas navigate the tight turns. They reached the canyon ascent safely, the rainwater crystals light glowing brighter, as if cheering them on. Finally, after days of travel, they reached the desert oasis, a majestic land of golden sands, palm trees, and sparkling pools. The villagers, dressed in bright blues and whites, greeted them with joy. "You've brought the rainwater crystals. Our summer solstice festival can begin," the chief of the oasis declared, his voice ringing with gratitude. But the journey wasn't over yet. As they prepared to unload, a sudden sandstorm swept through the oasis, threatening to bury the crystals. Thomas acted quickly. "We need to protect the crystals. With teamwork, They used their buffers and flatbeds to shield the stones, James with strength, Percy with speed, Emily with precision, and Toby with steadiness. The rainwater crystal's glow helped them see, and they secured the cargo just in time. The festival began, with the rainwater crystals placed in the oasis as central pool, their equilight transforming the water into a shimmering cascade that nourished the land, turning the desert into a blooming paradise of flowers and greenery. The chief thanked them, Thomas and friends. Your bravery and teamwork have saved our festival. You ray heroes of the desert oasis. Sir Topham Hatt, who had followed to witness their return, clapped proudly. Well done, Thomas, Percy, James, Emily, and Toby. You've made Sodor proud on this distant journey. That night, as the engines rested in Tidmouth sheds, they looked out at Sodor's starry horizon, where a faint equilight from the desert oasis lingered, a reminder of their epic adventure and the magic of friendship across distant lands.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
The Sodor Zoo Rescue. One bright summer morning on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine was chugging along the park tracks, pulling a train of fresh hay and treats for the Sodor Wildlife Zoo. The sun shone warmly, and the air was filled with the sounds of chirping birds and distant animal calls. But as Thomas neared the zoo's entrance, he heard a loud, panicked roar, followed by a clatter of gates coming from the elephant enclosure. Thomas slowed down, his eyes wide with concern. What is that noise? He wondered, his steam puffing softly. Just then, Percy, who was nearby delivering water barrels, puffed up beside him. Thomas, I think it asked the zoo animals. Something is wrong? Percy said, his voice filled with worry. The two engines decided to investigate, but they knew this might need more help. Thomas whistled loudly, calling for James, Emily, and Toby. Soon, the group gathered near the zoo gates, their headlights shining on the colorful pens, where they saw Chaos, the elephant. Allie had broken free, her trunk tangled in a fallen fence, and other animals, lions, giraffes, and monkeys were scattering in confusion. James, with his shiny red paint, said, I can pull that fence with my strength, but Allie looked scared. Emily, with her thoughtful and gentle nature, suggested maybe we can use the hay and treats to calm the animals and guide them back safely. Toby, the wise old tram engine, nodded. Ivy got some strong ropes on my flatbed. Let us work together to make a plan. With teamwork, they sprang into action. Percy, with his small size, carefully maneuvered through the zoo paths to drop hay near Allie, distracting her while James used his buffers to gently lift the tangled fence, avoiding harm. Emily, as kindness, soothed Allie, coaxing her to stay calm as Thomas guided the ropes with his steady presence, ensuring the fence was cleared safely. Allie trumpeted gratefully, her big ears flapping happily. Thank you, friends of steel. You've saved me, she bellowed, her trunk reaching out to nuzzle Thomas as funnel. But the adventure wasn't over. The other animals had scattered across the zoo. Leo the lion was pacing near the lion den. Gerald the giraffe had stretched his neck into a tree. And the monkeys, Mischief and Mayhem, were swinging on the fence, giggling. We need to bring them back, Thomas declared, his heart swelling with determination. They used Toby as flatbeds to carry treats, carrots for Gerald, meat for Leo, and bananas for the monkeys, while James and Percy worked together to guide the animals gently. Emily, as steady voice, calmed Leo as roars, and Thomas, as determination, kept them moving, even as the sun began to set. With the zoo restored, they repaired the fence using spare wood from Toby as flatbeds, securing it tightly. The animals returned to their pens, and the zookeeper, Mr. while though not shown in images per your preference, sent a message of thanks via Sir Topham Hatt, who arrived to see their work. Well done, Thomas and friends. You've saved the Sodor Zoo with your teamwork and kindness, Sir Topham Hatt said, clapping proudly. That evening, as the engines rested in Tidmouth sheds, they heard Alia's distant trumpet and the monkeys' playful chitters, a reminder of their exciting rescue and the magic of friendship at the Sodor Wildlife Zoo.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
Thomas and Friends, the Sapphire Sea Caves. One sunny summer afternoon on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine was chugging along the coastal tracks, pulling a train of colorful seashells for the Sodor Seaside Carnival. The ocean sparkled under the bright sun, and seagulls soared overhead. But as Thomas reached the Sapphire Bay, a shimmering cove near the cliffs, he heard a strange, echoing chime, like bells ringing deep beneath the waves. Thomas slowed down, his eyes wide with curiosity. What is that sound? He wondered, his steam puffing softly into the salty air. Just then, Percy, who was nearby delivering fishing nets, puffed up beside him. "Thomas, it sounds like music from the sea, but I've never heard it before," Percy said, his voice filled with excitement. The two engines decided to investigate, but they knew this might need more help. Thomas whistled loudly, calling for James, Emily, and Toby. Soon, the group gathered near the bay, their headlights shining on the sparkling water, where the chiming grew louder, and a small, hidden cave beneath the cliffs glowed with a soft, sapphire blue light. James, with his shiny red paint, gasped. "A glowing cave. What is inside?" Emily, with her thoughtful and gentle nature, said, "Maybe it is Sodor's magic at work. The Sapphire Bay has always been special, it could hold a secret." Toby, the wise old tram engine, nodded. "Let us be careful. The tide is strong, and we need to uncover this safely." With Thomas leading, they followed the chiming sound into the cave, the waves lapping at the entrance. The sapphire light led them to a hidden chamber, where an ancient, barnacle-covered chest lay beneath a glittering vein of sapphire crystals. The chest's surface was edged with waves and train tracks, and the light seemed to come from within. Percy, with his small size, squeezed through a narrow gap in the rocks and nudged the chest open with his buffer. "It is a treasure chest," he exclaimed. Inside, they found a collection of shimmering sea stones, old maps, and a small, sapphire blue conch shell glowing with the same light as the cave. James, impressed, said, "This must be the Sapphire Sea Heart. But why is it hidden here?" Emily studied the maps and discovered a note. "The Sapphire Sea shall keep Sodor's tides in balance. Return it when the waves falter." Thomas realized, the waves are chiming because they are losing their harmony. "We need to place this shell back to calm the sea." With teamwork, they loaded the chest onto Toby's flatbed. James used his strength to clear a path through the rocky shore, while Percy's quick thinking helped navigate the slippery tracks. Emily's kindness calmed a flock of frightened seagulls spooked by the glowing shell, and Toby's steady presence ensured the chest stayed secure. When they returned to the Sapphire Bay, Thomas carefully placed the sapphire conch shell on a hidden ledge by the water's edge, securing it with the chest's light. The shell flared brightly, and the tide softened, their chiming turning into a harmonious melody that spread across Sodor's coast, calming the waves and filling the air with peace. Sir Topham had arrived, amazed by their discovery. "Well done, Thomas and friends. You've uncovered the Sapphire Sea Cave secret and ensured Sodor's tides stay balanced." That evening, as the engines rested in Tidmouth sheds, they listened to the gentle melody of the Sapphire Bay in the distance, a reminder of their adventurous journey and the magic of teamwork on Sodor.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
Thomas and Friends, the Emerald Valley Echo. One misty autumn morning on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine was chugging along the valley tracks, pulling a train of ripe pumpkins for the Sodor Harvest Festival. The air was crisp, filled with the scent of falling leaves, and the valley glowed with shades of orange, red, and gold. But as Thomas passed the Emerald Valley a lush, green expanse near the Whispering Woods, he heard a strange, echoing whistle, like a train's call bouncing off the hills, but softer and more musical. Thomas slowed down, his eyes bright with curiosity. What is that sound? He wondered, his steam puffing softly. Just then, Percy, who was nearby delivering cider, puffed up beside him. Thomas, it is like a train whistle, but it is coming from the valley. I've never heard it before, Percy said, his voice filled with excitement. The two engines decided to investigate, but they knew this might need more help. Thomas whistled loudly, calling for James, Emily, and Toby. Soon, the group gathered near the valley, their headlights shining on the misty hills, where the echoing whistle grew louder, and a small, hidden cave in the hillside glowed with a soft, emerald green light. James, with his shiny red paint, gasped. A glowing cave. What is inside? Emily, with her thoughtful and gentle nature, said, maybe it is Sodor's magic at work. The Emerald Valley has always been special. It could hold a secret. Toby, the wise old tram engine, nodded. Let us be careful. The hills are steep, and we need to uncover this safely. With Thomas leading, they followed the echoing whistle into the cave. The valley as mist swirling around them. The emerald light led them to a hidden chamber, where an ancient, moss-covered chest lay beneath a sparkling vein of emerald crystals. The chest's surface was edged with train tracks and leaves, and the light seemed to come from within. Percy, with his small size, squeezed through a narrow gap in the rocks and nudged the chest open with his buffer. It is a treasure chest, he exclaimed. Inside, they found a collection of shimmering emerald stones, old maps, and a small, leaf-shaped whistle glowing with the same green light as the cave. James, impressed, said, "This must be the Emerald Valley heart. But why is it hidden here?" Emily studied the maps and discovered a note. The Emerald Valley whistle keeps Sodor's echoes in balance. Return it when the valley falls silent, Thomas realized. The valley is echoing because it is losing its harmony. We need to place this whistle back to restore its song. With teamwork, they loaded the chest onto Toby's flatbed. James used his strength to clear a path through the leafy terrain, while Percy's quick thinking helped navigate the winding tracks. Emily's kindness calmed a flock of startled deer spooked by the glowing whistle, and Toby's steady presence ensured the chest stayed secure. When they returned to the Emerald Valley, Thomas carefully placed the leaf-shaped whistle on a hidden ledge in the cave, securing it with the chest's light. The whistle flared brightly, and the valley's echoes turned into a harmonious melody that spread across Sodor, calming the winds and filling the air with music. The mist lifted, revealing the valley's vibrant green beauty. Sir Topham had arrived, amazed by their discovery. Well done, Thomas and friends. You've uncovered the Emerald Valley echo secret and ensured Sodor's valleys stay musical. That evening, as the engines rested in Tidmouth sheds, they listened to the gentle melody of the Emerald Valley in the distance, a reminder of their adventurous journey and the magic of teamwork on Sodor.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
The Polar Bear's Northern Lights quest. One icy winter night on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine was chugging along the northern tracks, pulling a train of glowing ice lanterns for a special delivery to the frozen fjord. The snow sparkled under the moon, and the air was crisp with frost. But as Thomas reached the frozen fjord, a remote, snow-covered bay near the Arctic edge, he saw something extraordinary. A brilliant display of the northern lights swirling above, their colors green, purple, and pink dancing across the sky. Beneath the lights, a large, white shape moved through the snow, a majestic polar bear. Looking lost and confused, Thomas slowed down, his eyes wide with awe. What is that bear doing here? He wondered, his steam puffing softly into the cold air. Just then, Percy, who was nearby delivering snow for a community project, puffed up beside him. Thomas, it has a polar bear, and the northern lights are brighter than ever. I've never seen them like this, Percy said, his voice filled with excitement. The two engines decided to investigate, but they knew this might need more help. Thomas whistled loudly, calling for James, Emily, and Toby. Soon, the group gathered near the fjord, their headlights shining on the snow, where they saw the polar bear, Frostbite, pacing anxiously, his white fur glowing under the aurora's light. James, with his shiny red paint, said, I can approach him with my strength, but he looks scared. Emily, with her thoughtful and gentle nature, suggested maybe we can use the ice lanterns and some snow to calm him and guide him safely. Toby, the wise old tram engine, nodded. Ivy got some strong chains on my flatbed. Let us work together to make a plan. With teamwork, they sprang into action. Percy, with his small size, carefully dropped his lanterns near Frostbite, creating a glowing path, while James used his buffers to gently clear a snowbank blocking the bear's way, avoiding harm. Emily, as kindness, soothed Frostbite, coaxing him to stay calm as Thomas guided the chains with his steady presence, ensuring the bear could move freely. Frostbite let out a grateful growl, his deep voice rumbling. Thank you, friends of steel. You've saved me. His white fur sparkled in the northern lights, his eyes reflecting their colors. But the adventure wasn't over. Frostbite explained, I came from the Arctic searching for the aurora crystal, which powers the northern lights. A storm blew me off course, and I got lost. The lights are fading because the crystal is missing. The engines inspected the fjord and found a hidden ice cave beneath a snowdrift, its entrance glowing faintly with the same colors as the aurora. Toby used his flatbeds to clear the snow, while James and Percy worked together to navigate the icy tracks. Emily, as steady voice, guided them, and Thomas, as determination, kept them moving. Even as the snow fell heavier, in the cave, they found a sparkling, multicolored crystal, the aurora crystal buried in ice. Percy, with his small size, nudged it free, and Thomas carefully placed it on a pedestal at the cave's center. The crystal flared brilliantly, and the northern lights above intensified, their colors swirling more vividly across the sky, bathing Sodor in a magical glow. Frostbite roared happily. UV restored the northern lights. I can return home now. He nuzzled each engine, his gratitude clear, before heading back toward the Arctic, his white form glowing under the aurora. Sir Topham had arrived at dawn, amazed by their tale. Well done, Thomas and friends. UV saved Frostbite and restored the northern lights, making Sodor as winter magical. That night, as the engines rested in Tidmouth sheds, they watched the northern lights dance over the frozen fjord, the aurora crystal as light twinkling, a reminder of their epic rescue and the magic of friendship under Sodor's northern skies.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
Thomas and friends. Thomas leaves Sodor. Once upon a time, on the bustling island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine puffed along the tracks, his bright blue paint gleaming in the morning sun. He had spent years chugging through the green hills, delivering goods, and helping his friends Percy, James, Gordon, and all the others. But lately, Thomas felt a strange pull in his boiler, a longing for something new. One day, as he rested in Tidmouth sheds, Thomas looked out at the horizon. The sea sparkled beyond the cliffs, and he wondered what lay beyond Sodor. I've been a really useful engine here, he said to himself. But maybe there is more I can do out there. The next morning, Thomas spoke to the Fat Controller. Sir, he said bravely, I'd like to explore the world beyond Sodor. I want to see new places and meet new engines. The Fat Controller, though surprised, saw the determination in Thomas's eyes. Very well, Thomas, he said with a kind smile. You've earned it, but promise you'll come back to visit. Thomas's friends gathered at the docks to say goodbye. Percy whistled sadly. Who'll pull the mail train now? James huffed. Don't you get too full of yourself out there, Thomas. Gordon
ever proud. Simply said, make Sodor proud. Thomas gave a cheerful peep-peep and rolled onto the big ship waiting to take him across the sea. As the ship sailed away, Thomas watched Sodor shrink into the distance. He felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The world was vast, and he was just a little tank engine. Soon, he arrived at a busy port on the mainland, where engines of all shapes and sizes bustled about. There were sleek diesels, towering steam giants, and even electric trains zipping along. Thomas felt small, but his courage kept him going. Over time, Thomas traveled through bustling cities, quiet countryside, and winding mountain tracks. He hauled coal in the north, carried passengers by the coast, and even helped rescue a stranded engine in a snowy valley. Everywhere he went, he told stories of Sodor, its friendly engines, its winding rails, and the Fat Controller SY's leadership. Engines across the world came to admire the little blue tank engine with a big heart. One day, after many adventures, Thomas looked at the stars and thought of home. He missed Percy's cheeky grin and Gordon's booming voice. With a full coal bunker and a determined whistle, Thomas decided it was time to return. When he finally rode back into Tidmouth Sheds, his friends cheered louder than ever. "Thomas, you rade back," Percy cried, and just as blue as ever, James added with a smirk. The Fat Controller beamed. "UV made us proud. Thomas, Sodor will always be your home." And so, Thomas settled back into his old routines, but now with tales of the wide world to share. He was still a really useful engine, but now he was a little wiser, too.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
Thomas and Friends, the Minecraft Tracks Adventure. One sunny summer morning on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine was chugging along the meadow tracks, pulling a train of colorful blocks for the Sodor Building Day, a fun event where children would use the blocks to create imaginative structures. The air was filled with laughter, and the fields bloomed with wildflowers. But as Thomas passed the old signal box near the rolling hills, he heard a strange, pixelated buzzing sound, like tiny blocks clinking together. Thomas slowed down, his eyes wide with curiosity. What is that noise? He wondered, his steam puffing softly. Just then, Percy, who was nearby delivering wooden planks, puffed up beside him. "Thomas, it sounds like blocks moving, but I've never heard that before," Percy said, his voice filled with excitement. The two engines decided to investigate, but they knew this might need more help. Thomas whistled loudly, calling for James, Emily, and Toby. Soon, the group gathered near the signal box, their headlights shining on a glowing, green portal that had appeared behind it, flickering with pixelated light and blocky shapes, clearly a doorway into the world of Minecraft. James, with his shiny red paint, gasped, "A portal. Are we going into a game?" Emily, with her thoughtful and gentle nature, said, "It must be Sodor's magic mixed with something new. We should explore carefully." Toby, the wise old tram engine, nodded. "Let us stick together. This could be an adventure or a challenge." With Thomas leading, they cautiously rolled through the portal, their wheels transforming into blocky, pixelated versions of themselves as they entered Minecraft's pixelated world. The meadow became a grassy biome with oak trees, sheep, and cows made of cubes, and the track stretched into a blocky railway through forests and mountains. But the adventure wasn't simple. A mischievous creeper, with its green, hissing form, appeared, startling them by exploding near the tracks, scattering blocks everywhere. "Watch out!" Percy squeaked, dodging the blast. James, with his strength, used his buffers to rebuild a section of the track, while Emily's kindness calmed a frightened sheep that had been knocked over. Their goal became clear when they met Steve, a blocky character in blue, who appeared on the tracks. Welcome, friends of steel. A glitch in Minecraft has stolen Sodor's block-hearted glowing, diamond-shaped block that powers your world as magic. Find it in the Nether Fortress, and I'll help you return, Steve said, his voice pixelated but friendly. In the Nether Fortress, they found the block heart, guarded by a blaze that shot fiery cubes. Working together, they dodged the flames, Thomas with speed, Percy with agility, Emily with strategy, and Toby with stability, while James used his strength to knock the blaze aside. Thomas retrieved the block heart, its diamond glow restoring their blocky forms to normal. Steve cheered. "UV saved both worlds. Let us return to Sodor." They rolled back through the portal, the block heart as light mending the signal box, which now glowed with pixelated magic. Sir Topham had arrived, amazed by their tale. "Well done, Thomas and friends. UV brought Sodor and Minecraft together with your teamwork and bravery." That evening, as the engines rested in Tidmouth sheds, they watched the meadow, where blocky fireflies danced, a reminder of their wild Minecraft adventure and the magic of friendship across worlds. Thomas, ever brave, nodded. "Will you find it? Let us go to the Nether." They navigated Minecraft as biomes, crossing a desert with cacti, a jungle with vines, and a snowy tundra with blocky penguins facing challenges like lava pits and zombie attacks. Percy's quick thinking helped them build a bridge over lava using cobblestone, while Toby's steady presence guided them through a maze of nether portals. Emily's kindness tamed a blocky wolf to guard them, and James's power cleared obstacles like fallen netherrack.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
Thomas and the Great Sodor Race. One sunny morning on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine puffed happily along the tracks, his bright blue paint gleaming in the light. He was on his way to Tidmouth Sheds, where his friends were gathering for an exciting announcement from the Fat Controller. When Thomas arrived, he saw Percy, James, Gordon, and Emily already waiting. The Fat Controller stood in front of them, holding a shiny golden whistle. "Good morning, engines," he said with a smile. "Today, we're holding the Great Sodor Race. The first engine to reach Nepford Station from the far side of the island will win this whistle as a prize." The engines cheered with excitement. Gordon huffed proudly. "I am the fastest engine on Sodor. That whistle is mine." James smirked. "Speed isn't everything." Gordon, "I'll win with my splendid red style." Percy giggled. "I just want to have fun." Emily rolled her eyes and said, "Let us see who is really the best." Thomas, feeling determined, chugged forward. "I may be small, but I'll give it my all." The race began at Brandom Docks, with a loud toot, toot, from the Fat Controller's whistle. The engine sped off. Gordon thundered ahead, his wheels spinning furiously. James followed close behind, shining brightly. Emily took a steady pace, while Percy zipped through the countryside, laughing as he went. Thomas, though smaller, puffed with all his might, determined not to give up. The engines cheered with excitement. Gordon huffed proudly. "I am the fastest engine on Sodor. That whistle is mine." James smirked. "Speed isn't everything." Gordon, "I'll win with my splendid red style." Percy giggled. "I just want to have fun." Emily rolled her eyes and said, "Let us see who is really the best." Thomas, feeling determined, chugged forward. "I may be small, but I'll give it my all." The race began at Brandom Docks, with a loud toot, toot, from the Fat Controller's whistle. The engine sped off. Gordon thundered ahead, his wheels spinning furiously. James followed close behind, shining brightly. Emily took a steady pace, while Percy zipped through the countryside, laughing as he went. Thomas, though smaller, puffed with all his might, determined not to give up. Along the way, challenges tested the engines. Gordon got stuck behind a slow freight train and grumbled impatiently. James stopped to admire his reflection in a lake, losing precious time. Percy accidentally took a wrong turn but found a shortcut through the forest. Emily helped a farmer move some sheep off the tracks, which slowed her down but earned her a cheer. Thomas, meanwhile, kept chugging steadily, helping a lost duckling back to its pond without hesitation. As the finish line at Knapford Station came into view, the engines were neck and neck. Gordon surged forward, but Thomas's determination pushed him just ahead. With a final burst of steam, Thomas crossed the line first. The crowd cheered, and the Fat Controller blew the golden whistle in celebration. "Well done, Thomas," said the Fat Controller. "You showed that hard work and kindness win the day." Thomas beamed with pride as his friends gathered around. Even Gordon managed a small smile. "Perhaps I'll race you again tomorrow," he said. And so, the engines spent the rest of the day laughing and steaming along together, happy to be friends on the wonderful island of Sodor.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
Thomas and the mystery of the missing coal. It was a crisp autumn day on the island of Sodor, and Thomas the tank engine was puffing along the tracks, delivering mail to the villages. The leaves were turning golden and red, and a cool breeze rustled through the trees. As Thomas arrived at Farquhar Station, he noticed something strange. His coal bunker was nearly empty, even though he'd been filled up that morning at the coaling plant. "That is odd," Thomas said to himself, his steam puffing out in little clouds. "Where's all my coal going?" He decided to head back to Tidmouth Sheds to tell his friends. When Thomas arrived, Percy, James, and Toby were already there, chatting about their day. "Something funny is happening," Thomas said, rolling up beside them. "My coal keeps disappearing." Percy tilted his funnel. "Mine too." "I thought I was just imagining it." James, polishing his red paint, huffed. "Well, my coal is fine. Maybe you two aren't keeping track properly." Toby, the wise old tram engine, jingled his bell thoughtfully. "Sounds like a mystery to me. We should investigate." The engines agreed to split up and search for clues. Thomas tugged toward the coaling plant. Percy headed to the quarry. Toby rolled along the branch lines, and James reluctantly steamed toward the docks, grumbling about getting dirty. At the coaling plant, Thomas spotted a trail of coal dust leading away from the tracks. "Ah," he said. Following it, the trail wound through a forest and stopped at a small, hidden shed. Inside, Thomas found a group of cheeky coal trucks giggling to themselves. "We've been borrowing your coal for our campfire," one truck admitted. "It is getting chilly at night." Meanwhile, Percy discovered some birds at the quarry packing at bits of coal to line their nests. "They think it is shiny treasure." Percy left. Toby found a farmer using coal to keep his scarecrow warm. And even James returned from the docks with news Cranky the crane had accidentally dropped some coal into the sea while unloading a ship. That evening, the engines gathered at Tidmouth Sheds with the Fat Controller. Thomas explained everything they'd found. The Fat Controller chuckled. "Well, it seems we've got some coal thieves on Sodor. I'll make sure the trucks stay in line. The birds get shiny pebbles instead, and the farmer gets firewood. As for Cranky, he'll be more careful next time." The engines whistled happily, relieved the mystery was solved. "Next time my coal goes missing, I'll know where to look," Thomas said with a grin. And as the sun set over Sodor, the friends settled down for a cozy night. Their bunkers full and their spirits high.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
Thomas and friends, the Minecraft realm return.
One crisp autumn evening on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine was chugging steadily along the forest tracks, his blue paint glinting under the soft, golden hues of the setting sun. He pulled a long train of glowing pumpkins, freshly harvested from Farmer McColl's fields, destined for a community storage shed to prepare for the coming winter. Thomas slowed to a cautious stop, his eyes widening with a mix of curiosity and recognition. That sounded as the Minecraft portal again. He exclaimed, his steam puffing softly into the chilly air. Just then, Percy, who was nearby delivering a load of sturdy wooden logs from the lumber mill, puffed up beside him, his green paint speckled with salt. The two engines exchanged a glance, their wheels creaking slightly as they considered the possibility. We should check it out. But will he need the others? Thomas decided, his determination kicking in. He let out a loud, cheerful whistle, the sound echoing through the trees, calling for James, Emily, and Toby. Within minutes, the group gathered near the signal box, their headlights casting beams through the mist, illuminating a glowing, green portal that had materialized behind the weathered structure. The portal flickered with pixelated light, its edges formed by blocky obsidian frames, buzzing with Minecraft energy. A familiar blocky figure stepped out Steve, the Minecraft adventurer, clad in blue, holding a glowing pickaxe and a map rolled in his pixelated hands. "Welcome back, friends of steel," Steve greeted, his voice a cheerful, digitized chirp. A new glitch has corrupted the overworld, stealing Sodor's pixel core golden, heart-shaped block that links our worlds and keeps your magic alive. It has hidden in the end dimension, guarded by the Ender Dragon. The glitch is spreading, turning biomes wild and mobs hostile. Will you help us again, James? With his shiny red paint gleaming even in the dim light, huffed with a grin. Another adventure. I am ready to show off my strength and speed this time. Emily, her elegant frame steady despite the mist, added thoughtfully. We need to be cautious. The end is dangerous, but our teamwork can overcome any challenge. Toby, the wise old tram engine, nodded sagely, his weathered buffers creaking. This journey will test our limits, but we've faced the unknown before. Let us prepare and stay united. With Thomas taking the lead, his courage bolstered by his friends' support, they rolled cautiously through the portal. Their wheels transformed into blocky, pixelated versions, and their metal bodies took on a cubic, Minecraft-like appearance as they entered the pixelated realm. The forest morphed into a grassy biome with oak trees made of blocks, pixelated cows grazing, and sheep baying in cubic tones. The track stretched into a sprawling overworld railway, winding through diverse biomes. But the sky flickered ominously, trees glitched into lava pools, rivers froze mid-flow, and hostile mobs like zombies, skeletons, and spiders roamed freely, their pixelated eyes glowing in the dim light. Their first challenge arose in a warped forest biome, where the tracks twisted into a chaotic maze of purple vines and glowing mushrooms. The glitch had warped the rails, making them unstable. Percy's quick thinking shone as he suggested building a cobblestone path using spare blocks from their pumpkin train, his small frame darting to gather resources. James used his strength to push through the tangled roots, his buffers straining against the pixelated foliage. Emily's kindness tamed a pixelated wolf, naming it Pixel Pup, to scout ahead and alert them to dangers, while Toby's steady presence kept the train on the newly laid path. "We ray doing brilliantly," Thomas cheered, his blocky form glowing with determination as they navigated the eerie biome. As they crossed a desert biome, A sudden sandstorm unleashed a horde of creepers, their green forms hissing ominously. The explosion scattered their blocks, knocking Percy's funnel askew and sending Emily's tender spinning. Emily's calm voice guided them to rebuild, directing James to clear a safe route with his power, while Percy giggled nervously. This is like a blocky battlefield. They crafted shields from sandstone and pressed forward, reaching another portal, its purple glow pulsing like a heartbeat in the sandy haze. In another, the heat was intense, with rivers of lava glowing reared and guests floating overhead, firing fiery cubes. Toby's wisdom led them to craft a protective barrier from netherrack, his experience helping them avoid the lava flows. Percy dodged fireballs with agile twists, his small size an advantage, while James pulled the train through a narrow passage, his strength tested by the rugged terrain. Emily's strategy helped them evade a wither skeleton ambush, using Pixel Pup to distract the mob. Deep in another fortress, they encountered a blaze guarding a treasure room. Thomas used his speed to outmaneuver its fiery attacks, and they collected an end portal frame and several eyes of Ender, along with a clue, a pixelated map pointing to the end dimension. Back in the overworld, they tracked through a jungle biome, where vines hung like blocky curtains and parrots squawked in pixelated tones. The glitch had turned the rivers into chocolate milk, adding a humorous twist as Percy accidentally splashed into it, emerging with a sticky brown coating. Oink! I am a chocolate train now. He laughed, lightening the mood. They built the end portal with the collected eyes of Ender, the structure humming with energy as they stepped into the end dimension. The end was a vast, obsidian landscape, with floating islands and a towering ender dragon circling above, its purple wings casting eerie shadows. The pixel core glowed atop the central island, but the dragoness attacks, sweeping tails and acid breath shook the ground, toppling blocks. James and Toby anchored the train with chains, their strength holding firm against the tremors. Percy distracted the dragon with blocky fireworks crafted from gunpowder, his agility keeping him out of reach. Emily guided Thomas to the core, her strategy plotting a safe path through the chaos. With a brave lunge, Thomas grabbed the pixel core, its golden light flaring as the dragon vanished in a burst of particles, the world stabilizing with a satisfying click. Steve reappeared, clapping his blocky hands. UV saved Minecraft and Sodor. The pixel core is back where it belongs. Let us return. They rolled back through the portal, the signal box glowing with restored magic, its blocky edges fading into Sodor's natural beauty. The forest returned to its autumnal glory, the glitch erased, and pixelated fireflies danced in the air as a token of their victory. Sir Topham had arrived at dawn, his face alight with pride as he listened to their tale. Well done, Thomas, Percy, James, Emily, and Toby. UV braved the Minecraft realm a second time, strengthening the bond between our worlds with your courage, wisdom, and teamwork. Sodor is prouder than ever. That night, as the engines rested in Tidmouth sheds, they gathered around a small fire, watching pixelated fireflies dance over the forest. Thomas shared stories of the warped forests, chocolate rivers, and the Ender Dragon. The pixel chorus light twinkling softly on a shelf, a cherished reminder of their epic second Minecraft journey and the enduring magic of friendship that bridged to worlds.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.
Thomas and friends, SpongeBob's Krusty Krab patty order. One sunny summer morning on the island of Sodor, Thomas the tank engine was chugging along the coastal tracks near Brandon Docks, pulling a train of freshly baked buns from the Sodor bakery. The sea sparkled under the bright sunlight, and the salty breeze carried the cries of seagulls overhead. As Thomas rolled into the docks, he noticed an unusual sight. A small, bubble-shaped submarine bobbing in the water, with a yellow, square figure waving a spatula excitedly. Thomas slowed down, his eyes wide with curiosity. Who was that? He wondered, his steam puffing softly. Just then, Percy, who was nearby delivering crates of seaweed for the fish market, puffed up beside him. Thomas, it looks like a sponge, and he is calling us, Percy said, his voice filled with excitement. The figure turned out to be SpongeBob SquarePants, who popped out of his submarine with a cheerful giggle. Hi, train friends. I am SpongeBob from Bikini Bottom. I work at the Krusty Krab, and we've got a big problem, mister. Krabs needs more Krabby Patties for a huge lunch rush, but we ray out of supplies. I heard Soda makes the best patties, so I came to place an order. Can you deliver them to the Krusty Krab? Thomas as funnel puffed with determination. A delivery to Bikini Bottom. Will he help you? SpongeBob, he said, eager for the adventure. They knew this would need the whole team, so Thomas whistled loudly, calling for James, Emily, and Toby. Soon, the group gathered at the docks, their headlights shining on SpongeBob, who handed them a list of ingredients needed for the patties. Sodor's finest buns, lettuce, tomatoes, and a special batch of Soda's secret sauce, all to be assembled at the Krusty Krab. James, with his shiny red paint, boasted, I am the strongest engine, I'll carry the heaviest load. Emily, with her thoughtful nature, added, we'll need to figure out how to deliver underwater. Let us plan carefully. Toby, the wise old tram engine, nodded, I've got waterproof tops on my flatbed. We'll keep everything dry for the journey. With SpongeBob as guidance, they loaded the ingredients onto their trains, covering them with tops to protect them from the water. SpongeBob led them to a magical underwater portal near the docks, a shimmering, bubble-filled gateway that connected Soda to Bikini Bottom, a gift of Sodor's magic bridging the two worlds. As they rolled through the portal, their wheels transformed into sleek, aquatic versions, and their metal bodies adapted to the underwater environment, glowing faintly with a bubble-like sheen. Their journey began in the Goo Lagoon, where the sandy ocean floor was dotted with colorful shells and playful fish. But a school of jellyfish swarmed around them, their electric stingers buzzing dangerously close to the ingredients. Percy's quick thinking helped them dodge the jellyfish, weaving through the school with his small size, while James used his strength to push a large seashell as a shield. Emily's kindness calmed a curious jellyfish, guiding it away, and Toby's steady presence ensured the top stayed secure. Bubble-tastic teamwork, Thomas cheered, his aquatic form gliding smoothly through the water. Next, they crossed the kelp forest, where thick, green kelp strands tangled around their tracks, slowing them down. A strong current tugged at their loads, threatening to sweep the ingredients away. Emily's strategy came into play as she suggested using the kelp to anchor their trains, tying it around coral to stabilize them. James powered through the current, his wheels churning against the resistance, while Percy darted around to secure loose tops. Toby's wisdom guided them through the dense forest, ensuring the ingredients stayed dry. Ray making a splash. Percy giggled, his funnel bubbling with excitement. As they approached Bikini Bottom, they encountered a new challenge, Plankton. The tiny green villain zoomed in with a robotic claw attached to his mini-sub, aiming to steal the ingredients. Those patties will be mine for the chum bucket, he cackled, his sub darting toward them. Thomas used his speed to outmaneuver Plankton, weaving through a rock formation, while Percy created a distraction by blowing bubbles to cloud Plankton's view. Emily coordinated their efforts, her calm voice keeping them focused, and James's strength knocked Plankton's sub off course, sending it spinning into a seaweed patch. Toby's steady guidance ensured the ingredients reached the Krusty Krab's back door. SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs were waiting, the crab-esque claws clicking with excitement. Ugh! He brought the goods, mateys. These patties'll be the best yet. Mr. Krabs cheered, his eyes gleaming with delight. SpongeBob hugged Thomas as funnel, leaving a soggy, bubble-filled mark. You ray the best. Train friends. Let us make some Krabby patties. They helped SpongeBob assemble the patties, stacking the buns, lettuce, tomatoes, and sauce with precision, watching as SpongeBob flipped them on the grill with a cheerful hum. The Krusty Krab filled with happy customers, their laughter echoing through Bikini Bottom as they enjoyed the soda-made patties. Patrick Star waddled in, munching on a patty and mumbling, "Mean tastes like friendship." With the delivery complete, they bid farewell to SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs, and Patrick, returning through the portal to Sodor. Their aquatic forms reverted as they rolled back onto the coastal tracks, the sea breeze greeting them warmly. Sir Topham had arrived, amused by their tale. Well done, Thomas and friends. You've delivered patties to Bikini Bottom with your bravery and teamwork, forging a new friendship between Sodor and the sea. That evening, as the engines rested in Tidmouth sheds, they shared stories of their underwater adventure. The scent of Krabby Patties lingering in their memories, a reminder of their bubbly journey and the magic of friendship across worlds.
Subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up.